Hey YouTubers, back again with RC Mike and Brian. Today we are back with the Trail Finder build. We have the new rims and tires, which we're going to show you. Another thing we're going to show you how to do is weight, or how we weight the rims and tires. These trucks require weight to be added to these tires and wheels to, one, usually keep the front end down. Brian likes to weight the back also, so that it gives it kind of more of a scale appearance. These are the new tires. You want to get a zoom in on that. And this is a RC four-wheel drive IROC 1.9 are the rims that we got. These are the new rims that they just came out with. These nuts and bolts right here are black. What we are going to be using is something different. We're going to be using silver nuts and bolts, and you can see a rim that's already done. I want to zoom into that rim there. That one, we've replaced these black screws and nuts with stainless steel silver ones, which gives it, we think, just a little better look. There's no right or wrong on how much weight to put in there or not put in there. Some people run no weight. If you've got a little bit faster vehicle, sometimes very little weight is necessary. But we like to run a fairly heavy weighted vehicle. It tends to be more scale-like and get a lot more traction. But that right there we would call 2 wraps, which is 2 wraps of segmented weights wrapped around the inside ring. We like to cut a groove inside this foam. So what I'm going to do, I've done this a few times. I don't measure so much anymore, but what I do is I just make a line inside there, and I try to stay on that line with the Dremel, and I cut a groove. What we're going to do is cut a channel inside this foam so that that weight has some place to sit. We will turn this on, and as we go in here, I'm just going to work my way all the way around and cut a slit all the way on my line there, and I'm going in to the foam as deep as the Dremel will go. And once we get it all cut all the way around, turn that off. What I like to do is just flip this thing inside out. You can see the two cuts that we've made in that foam, and you can see the centerpiece, which we'll just flip this inside out. Now you can kind of see the 2 cuts that have been made. And then what we're going to do is just grab this piece and kind of tear it. And as we just pinch the 2 edges together, we're going to end up with the center piece of foam being pulled out. And now, if you look in there, we have a channel right inside here that has space for that lead weight to go. And as you can see, it'll fit right inside that channel. So we'll stick this dude in there, work it around. Now you can see that the lead weight is inside that foam channel all the way around. If you don't do this little trick, what you end up with is the foam being stretched around here. And I've done this before too. And you get it inside there, and what can happen is when you're riding it and you side hill, you're going to be pushing this foam across, and then what happens over time, and it doesn't take long, the foam starts to fall off the wheel, and then the tires kind of fold inside the truck. This would be the outside of the truck, and then your wheels look all kind of goofy because your foam is falling off the inside of your tire. So with this groove in there, keeps that lead from, or the foam attached to that lead, holds it in the right spot.
Front tires we're going to put 3 wraps on. Normally we put 2 on the XCX10s, but since this thing is leaf spring, we kind of need a little bit more weight to get that flex out of it. So we're going to put 3 wraps on the front.
Which we haven't
really done before.
We haven't done that before. Most we've gone is 2 wraps in the front and 1 in the back. I run 2 in the front on my trucks and none in the back. But I'm running an SCX10. I don't like to have a ton of weight in the back. When you've got a lot of weight in the front, it can pull your truck over things and keep the front end down. But when you're running weight in the back, you can get up stuff, but then you've got this back to climb up things too, which can be detrimental. But when you're trying to get some articulation, especially out of a truck like this, you want that axle to be kind of heavy to keep all the wheels on the ground. If the wheels are in the air, you've got no traction. So with this truck, we're going to weight it a little bit more, and our battery sits right in the center, so our battery's really not helping us up front. So we're going to weight this a little heavier, and the suspension on this is a little stiffer than, like, say, an SCX10. So we're going to try and weight them a little more and see how that works. But like I say, the 3 wraps we have up front, that's going to be something we haven't done before. And it might not work, but that's what it's about, is trying different stuff and seeing what works and what doesn't work. But that's how much weight's going to be in this truck. While he's doing that, I'm going to show you guys another little trick that we're doing. Inside this bed, we're going to be doing a spray-in bed liner, which I've done this before a few times with a few other vehicles, and what we're using is this, it's called Doopy Color truck bed coating. This stuff works the best. I was afraid that the consistency of the texture would be a little bit too big or not be to scale, but this stuff here works very, very well, and it looks, when it comes out, it looks very, very good. Got a truck here that is Lexan, and I've sprayed this on quite a bit of Lexan. And what you want to do is get the spray can a long ways away from the material. If you spray real close, it's just going to goop up and turn into a mess. So you have to spray at a very far distance. What you want to do is hold this body a long ways from the can, and then when you start to spray, you just want to spray in short bursts. And first you want to just get to the hardest spot, and what you're going to do is just mist it using just a quick shot. You're not trying to coat it all at once, because otherwise it can flow together and you end up with just a bunch of clumps. I'll zoom in on that. So the key to this is getting it on there really thin, and like you can see, you can kind of see through it, but the bumps is what you want. So when that dries, you'll just come back and hit it again the same way, just real lightly, just hitting the trigger just slightly enough to shoot it on there a little. If you get too much, the material will flow together and it'll just kind of smooth out. So right there is our first coat. Zoom in on that. A little bit more. A little more. So that's what it's going to look like on your first coat. And that when it dries, it'll kind of settle down and the bumps won't be quite as pronounced. But we'll do probably 3 coats on this stuff here. So anyway, we'll let that sit for a little bit. We'll put that off to the side. And some of you might recognize what that truck is, but like I say, we're not quite ready to
show it to you.
Show you to you yet. We're not sure what we're going to do as far as that project goes, but anyway, let's take a look at that 3-wrap tire. So right here, what we've got is a ring with 3 layers. Brian's already got this taped. So you can see we got 1, 2, and then 3 layers of lead on there. This is fairly heavy, but that truck is also very heavy too. So I think these will work pretty good. Anyway, zoom out. And then on the foam, it's the same procedure to do the 3 wraps. It's a little bit taller, but the foam will absorb that extra distance.
Yeah.
The screws that we're using, I wanted to show you guys this also, is from a company that basically just sells different styles of screws. So when you get an order from these guys, this is kind of how the order sheet looks. It'll give you the itemized list of all the different screws you've got. This is the last order I got from them, and these screws are really, really nice. They're all stainless steel. I've been using these for a while. And that's how it comes, just like that. So we've got 3mm washers there. These are the 2.5mm nylon lock nuts that we're using on these RC 4-wheel drive rims. And let's see, these are the 2.5mm by 10mm long cap screws that we're using for these rims. And as you can see, the rim with the stainless screws looks a whole lot nicer than the black. So these screws right here is what we've replaced. So I think it looks a lot better. So anyway, this is how all their stuff comes. We've got some 2mm screws and some 2mm washers and 2mm nuts. These are some more. These are 2.5 jam nuts, and these are 3mm nylon locking screws. And of course, these are their 3mm by 10 button head or button screws. Like I said, I've been using these for a while now, and they're a lot cheaper than a lot of the brands out there, and you can get them in these bulk bags. Go ahead, zoom out. So that's what I'm using for screws, and that's the company that we've been using, and it works pretty good, so we like those.